Hello, I'm Odin, and this is DIY Prop Shop, where we recreate props using everyday materials without breaking the bank.
You must build additional pylons.
So with the new release of Starcraft 2, Legacy of the Void, I thought that today on DIY Prop Shop, we would go ahead and build the Warp Scythe from the Dark Templar, my personal favorite unit from Starcraft 2. The Warp Scythe itself, well, it's probably about 7 feet long because I believe the Protoss are 8 feet tall. I'm not. I'm going to scale this down for me. So I'm going to make a staff probably about 6 feet tall. It has the skull of a Zerg at one end and a green orb at the other end. Plus it emits warp energy. Now I'm not going to be able to get mine to emit warp energy, but I can make it light up, and I'll do that to both ends. So first I went to the home improvement store and I picked up a 10-foot piece of 1-inch PVC pipe. This was only $4 and it's given me plenty to work with. I also picked up some pipe insulation. This is for 1/2-inch copper pipe. And then I picked up a bag of backer rod. This came from the weather stripping department and it was only $3. So I went to the craft store and I picked up some thick foam. This stuff I want to use for the back of the Zerg skull. And to add some details to this, I picked up some of the thinner sheets as well. All this was only $1 each. I also got myself a 6-inch foam ball. This will be the base of the skull at the top of the staff. Lastly, I needed some more paint, so I picked up a bottle of brown and a bottle of gold paint. These were only 80 cents each. So then I went to our favorite big box retailer and picked up this baseball and bat set. This will give me the balls that I need to build this. One thing that I liked is not only are they green, but they're translucent. So with a flashlight, they'll actually light up. This was only $8 and the flashlights were $1 each. And I picked up a camping mat. This was only $7. It'll give me all the foam that I need to build out the middle of the staff. And I went to the party store where I picked up an alien mask. This will give me the face to my Zerg skull. It was $18, making it the most expensive thing I bought, but it was well worth it. Hacksaw first. So I really like the alien mask, but the Zerg skull doesn't have a mandible, so you'll need to cut this off. And then once I have that cut off, I can take a heat gun and actually bend it so it'll conform to my 6-inch ball better. So when you're using a heat gun, make sure you keep it moving, because if you hold it in one spot too long, you'll just melt your plastic. Plus I have to be careful of the styrofoam ball. The heat gun will shrivel that up. Using a coupon, I was able to get my heat gun for $8. Problem is it gets really hot to the touch. I'm actually applying a lot of pressure to help bend the plastic. I'm shaping it gradually so it'll fit the foam ball. So I need to figure out how I'm going to place the baseballs. So what I'm trying to figure out is exactly how I'm going to place the flashlight inside the styrofoam ball so I can light up the baseball. I like the way this looks. I'm going to drill a hole through the styrofoam ball to insert the flashlight, and then I'll drill a second hole to place it all on top of the pipe. I'm using an 1.25 inch hole saw for my drill bit, because this will fit my flashlight and my PVC pipe. I'm going to cut a little bit of the styrofoam ball off so I have more surface area for hot glue. I'm using the low temperature on the hot glue gun because the high temperature would just melt the styrofoam ball. So the pipe's going in here. I'm going to have to wire the wire through because the idea is to wire the wires through the pipe. That's going to make it tricky, but that's all right. Now I need to build this portion of the skull using the thick craft foam. I like this curve in the back of the skull. In order to help keep that shape, I'm going to use a piece of my insulation foam. So use a piece of paper to make a pattern. So now I can cut that out of the thin foam to put on top of my thick foam. To achieve an organic look, I'm going to make a series of small cuts in the foam. The yellow foam is too smooth for me, so I'm going to use a piece of sandpaper to rough it up. I thought it'd be a good idea to fill in the backside of the skull. I've finished with this for now. Let's make the other end. I'm going to use camping mat. Now that I've got my outline, I can cut out my piece. I cut out 3 layers of the camping foam because it's the same thickness as the pipe I'm going to use for the staff, as well as the flashlight to light up the orb. So now I'm just going to glue them together. So what I've done is I've made a hole to put the orb into. But the orb needs to light up using a flashlight, and the flashlight will be attached to the pipe I'm using for the staff. So what I need to do now is cut out a section of the foam for all this to fit into. In order to get the proper shape that I want, I'm going to need to trim the edges and cut 2 more pieces of foam to go on either side. So I'm trying to make sure I join the sides evenly, because if I don't, I'll have a crooked seam. Now that I've got the sides on, I want to trim the bottom down flush and glue it onto the thinner foam. I'm going to cut out the sides a little bit to decorate the orb. I'm going to make small triangular pieces to cover up the rough cuts from around the orb. And now for the final trim, I'm going to use backer rod. Now I need to cut my pipe. So if this feels comfortable, I'll go ahead and cut the long side to match the short side. I'm going to go ahead and quickly sand all the pipe so hot glue will actually stick to it. To make the hourglass shape, first I'm going to add a couple of strips of foam. So I need to make the hourglass that goes in the middle. I've got 20 inches to work with. So I can put 9 inches of hourglass on this side and 9 inches on this side. That'll give me 2 inches in the middle that I can use for decoration. So I'm just going to cut myself a piece of 9-inch foam. So through multiple test fittings, I think I've found my shape. So it's there. There. Now I want to shave this end down so it's flat. I'm cutting the pipe insulation in half so I can wrap it around the top. And I'll add a third one in the center. And then to fill in this area in the middle, I'm going to add a little more backer rod. Now that I got the middle finished, I'm going to have to wire up the 2 flashlights for the green glow. And my plan to do that is with the flashlights, I only need 2, but they were cheap, so I picked up a third in case something goes wrong. What I want to do is drill a hole in the side of the plastic case, feed some Cat 5 cable into it, connect the positive ring to the positive ring and the negative to the negative, and complete a circuit from one to the other. Once it's screwed together, I can turn on one switch and both flashlights will turn on. All right, it works. This is a tight fit, which was intentional. Oh! I'm going to add just a little bit of hot glue to secure this end. That way, if I need to change the batteries, I can take it off and reattach it with more hot glue. And then I need to make a throat piece and another part of armor on the back. I'm going to use the hot glue gun to draw some segments into the neck. I'm going to use this cutout piece from the other end so I can build up the neck here. I think 3 is too many. I'm going to take one layer off because when I wrap the top thing on, I don't want it to stick out as far as the ball. I want to add a little bit of detail to the back because this is kind of plain. So I want to make a plug to hide this. Just take a piece of the insulation foam. Now I'm going to make a little spike to put on the back of it. I want to spray paint it a solid color and then go back and paint in details. But I can't spray paint styrofoam. The styrofoam ball will shrivel up and turn really nasty, so I need to paint that with craft paint first. I have to be careful to make sure I fill in all the little nooks and crannies. Any spot where the spray paint will get in will dissolve the styrofoam. So now all I got to do is tape off the areas I want to keep clear so I can take it outside and spray paint it. The taping's done. Now I can just put the plug back in the back, take it outside and paint it. So my plan is to paint the skull black and the rest of the body gold. Okie dokie then. All right, now I just want to weather it a little. I'm going to add some brown to the gold and I'm going to dry brush the skull with brown and ivory. First thing I want to do is put on a generous coat of brown where I want the darkest points to be. And then I'm going to thin it with some water and rub it with a paper towel. All I'm really trying to do is to knock down the perfect coat of paint that the spray paint gave me. I want to make it look like it has a little bit of age to it. I want to make it look like it has a little bit of extra shadowing. I want to make it look a little more interesting. I can't go too far with the gold portions because everything Protoss has is pretty clean and cool. I got some overspray on the neck that I'm not happy with, so I'm going to go in and repaint this black. Now remember, when you're painting, you can get as detailed as you want. You can get in and paint highlights in every little piece, and you can paint shadows in every little piece. Or you can keep it easy like I did, with a simple paint job and a basic weathering scheme. Now I'm just going to dry brush the skull. I'm going to apply a liberal coat of brown. Then we're going to go back, put a little bit of a lighter brown, and then hit some highlights with ivory. I just want to paint the teeth. So here's my Dark Templar warp scythe from Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This entire project only cost me $55, but I have parts left over. I've got a whole sheet of the yellow fun foam, I've got a flashlight, plus I got the blue baseball bat I can use in a future project. Now if I want to turn the lights off on this, all I gotta do is pull the spike out of the back, and I got a switch right there. Let us know in the comments below about any other project you want to see us do. And if you try any of these builds for yourself, send us a picture at DIYpropshop@break.com. And don't forget to subscribe.
My life for ire. Team no longer needs his weirding device.
No, wait, that's from that movie.
Fear is an illusion.
Hey everyone, click here to see the game trailer for StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. It's available November 10th only on PC. But in the meantime, you can click here to see other awesome builds from DIY Prop Shop, and don't forget to subscribe.